アドバイスカードは女司祭のカードです。逆位置なので、今年のルシアの課題は感情をコントロールすること、そしてストレス発散をすること、さらに言うと情報に踊らされないこと運もそうだったんですけど、感情が高ぶりすぎると良くない結果が起こりそうなので、抑えていくと。
クリスマスに戻りてんな。
え、なんで？どうした？
去年に戻りたくね。なんか今年入ってまた進んじゃってるよって思ってさ。
ねえ、どうしたの？
何かあったんですか？
今年飽きちゃった？どうした？何があったんだよ。
去年に戻りてんよ。
何があったんだよ。
まだ年明けたくない。
Hello to everyone watching this video. As you can see, I'm a nobody with a countless channel. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain because I don't want to turn this channel into a content creation one. I just wanted to talk about the VTuber Uruha Rushia and her termination from Hololive. The videos I bought at the beginning are eerily fitting for what went down, and the tweet she made on the 9th looked like foreshadowing for everything that happened. I originally wanted to make this video sooner, but due to being busy and the fact that I had to gather more info about the general situation made me take my time. At the end, I decided to make it 1 month after everything started with the Discord DM. Now, here's a big disclaimer. This video is not made to hate. This is by no means me trying to fan the flames, but I felt a necessity to show everyone, especially the die-hard fan there, who they're really simping for. If this video doesn't change your views on her, very well, it's your choice, but if it does, don't get mad and turn into an outright hater. Just stop supporting her, and if you really want to lash out, do so in this comment section. Also, if you feel the need to hate on me because of this video, be my guest. I'm still a nobody and my identity is protected since I'm changing my voice. I won't take badly harsh comments against me because I understand where they might be coming from. A second disclaimer is that I'm going to use clips on this video that can be claimed very easily, so if that were to happen, hindering the views of this video or even risking my channel, I will delete this right away and post a live version with only the information needed and the links on the description, since I still want this to be known. Let's go with the timeline of events. It all started with Ona Collaboration's livestream of GTA 5 Online. Uruha Rushia was playing with Sakura Miko when at some point in her livestream a Discord notification showed up on her screen. It was a message from famous Taite, Mafu Mafu, saying, "I just finished my live stream. I'm going home now, Mi-chan." Mi-chan being in reference to Rushia's roommate, who's been known for quite a while for lots of people, that being Mikenekodoro. What many people didn't see or was overlooked because the first one took priority was the second message she got from him on the same live stream.
したいと思わないの？
したい。
ミコはやっぱルシアさんのさ、運転をさ、ミコちょっと見てよからさ、ちょっと。
The message reads, 3DS. Why now at 3DS? What does this have to do with anything? It will later make sense, I believe. After the live stream ends, it is put in private for copyright reasons allegedly, since there was no sign of distress or shock from Russia about anything from what I have read from people who were there. She She then looks at what's happening on Twitter, and she and her manager realizes what happened. Not only there was an uproar on Twitter, there were also comments in her last archive that was available, and a couple of others on her at the moment recently released new song Omoiku. The majority were on that other archive though, and if you go there, while her channel is still up, you can see that the vast majority of comments are trolling her, calling her Michan, quoting and spreading narratives from the first DM shown. However, while a lot of people thought these were mainly fan, they were not. There probably were a handful of them, but the vast majority was VTuber antis taking their chance to jump into a controversy, and probably some fans of Mafu Mafu as well. Didn't want to read all that, so the second I can't confirm. About the antis, you can check by yourself that those accounts were either fairly new, were not subbed to Rushia, or outright didn't have the option to look at their sub-channels. Thanks to all this, Korekore, who was at that moment doing a live stream on TikTok, was made aware of the situation.
で、そうさ、コメント本当なのそれ。本当にそれ、コメント。今 DM 見ていい？いや、コメントで流れてる情報は本当なの。うわー、マジか。やばいね。まあ、やらかしてしまったんだったらもう俺は言おうかな。もう表に出たんだったら言おうかなって感じ。いやー、アホだなー。なんでそんなアホなんだろうね。知らない人に説明すると、Mikeneko、まあ、VTuber なんだけど、配信中に左上に、なんか自分の多分画面を見せてて、パソコンの画面で左上に通知で、マフマカの LINE の、まあ、内容が来ちゃったみたいなね。バカだなぁ、本当に。あ、ディスコか。ディスコ。前から言われてたよ。うん。まあ、俺相談乗ってたから、なんだな。マフマフとの話を。まあ、それでこれやっちゃうんだったらもう、プロ意識がないな。閲覧トニーと無理でしょ。別に犯罪じゃないじゃん。だって、マフマフとミケネコの話って犯罪じゃないから。まあ、だからずっと黙ってたよ、俺は。ずっと黙ってたし、まあ、いろいろ相談も乗ったの。まあ、乗ったんだけど、まあ、こんなミスするようじゃもうダメやね。いや、俺言わないでって言われたこと言わないけど、表に出たら言うよ、それ。だって表に出てんだもん。だから俺、もう多分4ヶ月ぐらいずっと黙ってたから。別に悪いことじゃない。犯罪性はないけどね。犯罪性はないけど、2年前に否定してた人と結局そういうことかよみたいな話でしょ。でもね、嘘はつくもんだってみんな。バレたとしても。だって言えないでしょ。嘘はつくよ。それはなんでかっていうと、好きな女を守ってるからなんだよ。マフマフはミケネコ。ミケネコはマフマフを守っとんだよ。それ言えませんよね。
In the clip, he's shown us basically confirming their relationship with the way he spoke. That would change later on. But moving on, Mafu Mafu makes his first statement essay to it. You can read it here. He basically says that he's sorry for this situation and will take some time to reflect on his actions, even though there's nothing he needs to apologize for. Narukami Sabaki, a VTuber who's known in the community to be a gossip channel, makes a tweetcast about the situation and makes some statements.
で、TikTok でちょっと話した通りさ、めっちゃ言葉選ぶけど、愚痴を聞いてまして、まあ、話したんですよ。録音とか公開しなくていいよね。したくねえし別に。どういう感じの愚痴を聞いてたかっていうのをかいつまんで話すと、活動が苦しいと。無理ってなってて、もう本当にやめる一歩手前ぐらいになってて、なんで苦しいのかっていうと、中の会社のとある人と折り合いがどうしてもつかなくて、配信もそうだし、プライベートでもちょっと崩れてきてて、みたいな。で、ちょっともう配信やってける気がしない的な話だったのよ、それは。もうめちゃめちゃぼかしてます。俺も話半分、心配半分ぐらいで聞いてて、単純に、そういう感じで辛いんだなと思って話半分ぐらいで聞いてたわけ。で、別にそんな普段から連絡取り合ってるわけじゃなくて、めちゃめちゃ珍しく連絡した時にその話があったのよ。最近ね。と思ったら、一件があって、なんかその昨日の一件がね、大丈夫なのかなとか、まああれだけで炎上しちゃってかわいそうだなとか同情してたんだけど、そしたら夜にさ、これが、いや俺も最近相談受けてて、明日 YouTube ライブ、まあもしくはツイキャスライブで話しますみたいな、切り抜きを見たんよ。あれこれにも最近相談してたんだみたいな。と思って、 話の内容的には、活動が辛いとかっていうのはマジで本心だと思うの。向こうが嘘の相談内容を俺に投げつけてきたとも思えない。本当に辛かったんだろうし、活動実際休止しがちだったでしょ、最近。なんだってなってんのよね。なんでピンポイントで、俺とか、これこれにも普段から連絡取ってんのか、最近になって急にまたその相談行き出したのかとかっていうのが全然わかんないから、これこれが多分俺より詳しいからさ、そこら辺の話とか。そこでちょっと答え合わせしてほしいよね。まあ俺はもうほんとひたすら心配だけどね。いや、どうなんだろう。休止すんのかな。愚痴、しょいきれないよ、こんなの。
He says that Russia talked to him, telling him that she was having a hard time being a VTuber, and that there was someone within Korekore that she couldn't deal with. After that, Korekore makes a YouTube live stream where this famous clip shows up.
でからのこれなんですよね。まあこれが出てしまったと。はい。で、まあすぐにですね、なんか僕のところに LINE が来てですね、まあ相談がありますと。まあその出てしまったマフマフ戦件について、まあ、相談があるから、まあちょっと通話して。で、話聞いたところ、こちら、マフマフさんとは同棲してませんと。はい。で、これね、ちょっとね、これ今から話すことは本人は言わないでくれって言ってたんですけど、まあ、これはもう言った方がいいなという、もう俺の判断で言うんですけど、まあ一応証拠として、部屋の写真もわざわざ見せてもらったんですよ。だからその同棲してたら、そもそも部屋が同性の部屋になってるし、まあ家にいるだろうし、こう分かるじゃないですか、部屋で。だからまあわざわざ送ってくれたんですけど、まあこの写真出さないでくださいね、話さないでくださいって言われたんですけど、まあ一応そういうのをもらいましたと。はい、で、マフマフから送られてきたディスコードのこの文章。これね。たった今生放送終わって帰る準備してるよ、みーちゃんと。これは、そもそも、ルシアの方からマフマフに20時くらいにゲームを一緒にしたいと誘ってるんですよ。で、それに対する返答であると。で、それを考えた上で見ると、まあこれ一致するじゃないですか。いやいや、グルとかじゃない。視聴者とかファンが勝手に妄想してるだけ。なんか付き合ってもないし、同棲もしないのに、同棲してる、付き合ってるとかふざけたことを言ってるだけ。何も証拠もないし。俺はもう全部見せてもらってるから。で、それに対する返答であると。で、一応今回の件に関しては、LINE 上で謝罪をしていて、それ以上はやり取りはしていないと。で、また現状、付き合えるような関係にもなく、月に1回から2回一緒に APEX をしているという、まあ、ゲームをね、一緒にするだけの関係であると。まあ、APEX を教えてもらってみたらね。
In said clip, he says that Russia contacted him and sent him proof about her updating Mafu, including photos of her room, something that she told him not to comment about, but he did so anyways. Though asking for a drama channel to not spread information you're willingly given is just a bit too naive. You can argue that Russia is like that, but are you really sure that's the case? I'll go forward with all my speculations about that for now. There is, however, an important piece of information that was also overlooked because the first clip I showed doesn't include that part.
でですね、去年のこれ11月なんですけど、疎遠になっていた、まあ、ウルハ・ルシアさんの中の人がですね、まあ、LINE が急に来たんですよ。で、まあ、その時僕は生放送中だったんですけど、まあ、相談が来て、まあ、話を聞きました。実は、今私はマフマフさんとご飯に行ったり、まあ、仲が良くなったり付き合う手前まで行きそうで、でも過去の女性関係のことなどを、まあ、しつこく聞いたことで喧嘩になったと。そこで、コレコさんにマフマフさんの女性関係の暴露話があるなら教えてほしいというまあいわゆるですね、そういうことで俺に連絡してきたんだと。で、持ってたとしても勝手にその情報を仲がいいで、しかも別にこの時はもう久々の連絡で仲も良くなかった。 仲もいいとか悪いとかなかったんで、それを勝手に教えることはさすがにできないなと。マフマフから送られてきたディスコードのこの文章。これね。たった今生放送終わって帰る準備してるよ、みーちゃんと。これは、そもそも、ルシアの方からマフマフに20時くらいにゲームを一緒にしたいと誘ってるんです。で、それに対する返答であると。で、それを考えた上で見ると、まあこれ一致するじゃないですか。視聴者とかファンが勝手に妄想してるだけ。なんか付き合ってもないし、同棲もしてないのに、同棲してる、付き合ってるとかふざけたことを言ってるだけ。で、また現状、付き合えるような関係にもなく、月に1回から2回一緒にエイペックスをしているという、まあゲームをね、一緒にするだけの関係である。なんでこれ、マフマフさんのことをそんな好きになってしまったのかと。まあそのマフマフがあまりにも優しいと。で、それは自分だけにそのような対応をしているのか、それとも、自分だけじゃないのか。で、まあ、さらになんでそんな勘違いをしてしまったかというと、まあ、そのマフマフに好意があるということは伝えてた後に、まあ、ご飯に一緒に行ってくれたんで、さらに勘違いをしてしまったと。
Korekore says that Rushia ended up with a crush on Mafu, which doesn't seem like something damning at face value, but this info will play its part later on as well. The other thing that Korekore says about them being just friends who play games sometimes, it also ties in with the other message that she got on the same live stream. He also shows the reason for why nor Rushia nor Korekore made a statement right away.
で、これなんで、じゃあ本人が言わないんだって話なんですけど、本人が言えないのは、まあ、要は事務所が今、今日多分祝日ですよね。祝日で対応できないと。で、本当は声明発表出したいんですけど、事務所から止められてるから発表できないと。
He says that she probably went and asked for his help because Cover wouldn't help her because there was a national holiday in Japan going on at the moment. On February the 13th, Rushia makes a tweet on her official account. As of now, the tweet is deleted, but here is what it said on the translation. She says she's feeling terrible and she wants to not alive anymore. A tweet that was replied by Hachima saying that she's making some rice for her. Shortly after the tweet was deleted, either by her or by her manager. And I want to make emphasis on the fact that we don't know who deleted that. But let's go with the thought that it was the manager in this case. If we think that her manager not only deleted the tweet, but also hijacked, so to say, her accounts, we can see why I am going to make an emphasis on a certain line that the next statement will include. On February the 14th, Cover releases a statement that you can read in the link on the description or by pausing this video. We'll focus on these lines for now. We, as Cover, do not interfere with our talents' private lives. This statement made Cover heavily praised on the overseas community, but it also made everyone overlook a certain line that ended up coming into place later on, and it reads, "We are currently discussing internally on how to respond to the series of incidents involving the talent Uruha Rushia, as there has been an outburst of misleading information to the third parties, as well as the leakage of information, including those of business correspondence." There's also a new tweet that shows up in Rushia's Twitter account, and that will become the last one in the same. I'm sorry for not sending a message earlier. I'm very sorry for the concern and inconvenience I've caused to everyone. Please wait for me to send a proper response when I have calmed both mentally and physically. I'm sorry. This could have been a canned response by a manager, since they were still investigating the activities she has done. The next few days will be of total silence from Rushia, even on her personal accounts. That's until she made a tweetcast on her Mikeneko account. The translation of the clip got apart wrong as she said, "Please look at your phone" instead of what is shown there right before the goodbye. You can hear her crying and she's complaining about things being too cruel. Later on that same day, some people will discover that she made a new YouTube channel with her name on it, also uploading a 12 seconds video with a black screen and no sound. This was meant to be a test and it rapidly ended up getting lots of views. Her channel was set as a kids channel, so there was no way to comment on said video and no way to turn on the bell for notifications. So to know if she posted something and be the first or one of the first to get there, you need to basically camp on the channel. Later on February the 23rd, there will be a series of tweets from a supposedly old account of hers, paraphrasing everything she said there. She basically complained about things being too difficult, about needing to find a new place, and about feeling too tired before the day. Said account doesn't even exist according to Twitter, but she could have just changed the handle and deleted the tweets, since those are missing as well. She will later post on Instagram a picture of her with this message: "Just cut my hair after 1 year and a half. I cut a lot, so now it's shorter and neat. I just took a bath, so I don't have makeup on, but I like how my hair looks, so I'm fine with showing you. I'll get well soon." Something to notice is, she doesn't look distressed at all, and if she's really not using any makeup, then there's no signs of her being too weak to walk or eat, as she previously stated on her tweet. Instead, it looks like any other post on Instagram where someone is just trying to show how good they look with the out of place message that is, "I'll get well soon." You can argue that it is related, but from the tone of the post and how she looks, it's really not, in my opinion. Also a bit off topic, but take a look at this post. This was from January, so it is in no way related to the situation, but did you notice what it is? A freaking Louis Vuitton perfume. As you can see here, this listed as a product worth $280 on their official page. I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but I thought it was kind of funny how before she was showing her expensive fragrance, and a month later she starts to basically speed run, moving out. Vanity kills, they say. On February the 24th, Cover releases their official statement on the termination of Russia as shown here. Again, you can read it using the link below or pausing here. What's important to notice is what caused the termination, which was the thing they stated before on the announcement from the 14th. There was a leakage of information coming from Russia herself and also various fabrications according to the statement. At that moment, there was an ongoing live stream with the Bakatare trio, and those are Shirakami Fubuki, Shiranui Flare, and Tsurumaki Watame.
じゃあちょっとお知らせしときましょうかね。コメント欄でもいろいろありましたけども、ね、先ほど多分カバーからお知らせがあったと思います。ね、はい。そのことについてちょっといろいろみんなコメントで声かけてくれてありがとうございます。まずはカバーから出ているものがもう全てって感じなんですけども、まあね、フレアとしても結構ちょっと心境的にはあれかもしれないけども、
まあ、
ね、
まあこういう結果になってしまったのは、まあ、残念ではあるんですけども仕方ない部分でもあるので、3期生としては、4人でも頑張ってこれからも頑張っていこうかなとは思っております。
Their chat was apparently starting to talk about the situation, so Fubuki decided to give the announcement saying that there's not much to be said, but that everything that can be said can be found on this statement. Flare also said that it was unfortunate things ended up the way they did, but they have to accept it. It all sounded very professional, and very, they obviously knew what was going on beforehand, which is a given. Maybe they had 2 days in advance to know what was happening, but there was also another event about a town leaving Hololive where they had even more time to process everything, which was Koko's graduation. Koko's graduation was easily the biggest VTuber event from the 2021. There was something that pretty much every Holo member said in regards to that they didn't want her to leave. Even though they respected her decision to leave, they were still asking her to stay if possible. There's this particular clip where Fugoki can't hold it while seeing it after Koko made the public announcement.
飾らない毎日の中にあってふとした会話や隣歩く日々は宝物なんだ思い出は溢れて両手じゃ足りないよ部屋沈む辛さも共に支え合える大切フォトグラフさえいいと幸せを大好きなのにいつもありがとね遥か未来のこれからも一緒だよ思い切り笑おう手をつなぎ歌うこの一瞬がいつまでも大好き
While it is easier to start crying in situations like that, it is important that we keep in mind that no one from the trio seemed to even mind the situation, not even what's happening, with how emotional she's shown to be. Shortly after, Mikeneko does another live on Twitcast, saying that there are apparently many things to say.
すっごくあれだけどどんな言葉でもそうみんなの言葉は受け止めたいなとそれが事実じゃないことでも全然違うことでもそれでもみんなの言葉はしっかりと受け止めたいなって思ってます。でもたくさんね伝えたいこともあってごめんなさい本当にごめんなさい本当にねそれは自覚あります本当にごめんなさい下手で本当にごめんなさい言葉も下手だしあと年齢も公開してないので憶測とかでねいろいろ言うのも控えていただきたいですはい様々な面での捏造などなど私の方でしっかりするのでみんなもねどうか控えてもらえたら控えてくださいで今後の対応とかも結構話し合ってるので言える時にやっぱりみんなにお話ししようと思ってますすごく怖かったけどでも私もみんなに会いたかったから
She's a master of her craft, isn't she? The rest of the tweetcast was her going in circles about the things she already said. She talks about falsehood being spread about her and wanting that to stop. She also apologizes a lot. He talks about not being able to talk properly, which I don't know about you, but it doesn't seem like that many things. Oh yeah, and she apologized the last time, as if she forgot to do so already, which makes it sound fake in my opinion. She also talks about her age not being confirmed, which is also weird, but I think I get it coming from a Japanese woman. And also that will play part later on, so keep the age thing in mind. As for the many things to say, maybe she will do that later on. Maybe she was just trying to say I'm slightly okay. We'll see how the train of thought is able to hold by itself. There was also a short live stream held on Salapecra's channel, which I'm not going to put here simply because I'm already risking it with everything else in terms of what can be copyright claim. But it's basically the third generation reinforcing what was said before on the Baketar stream and on Twitter by various of the talents, that the situation is unfortunate, that they know the fans are hoarding and they as a generation are as well, but Gen 3 in Hololive goes on. The ones who sounded sadder were Pecora and Marine, while Flare sounds just slightly sad and Noel simply sounds shocked. That's what I can take from the tone in their voices at least. As Rushia was officially terminated, there were a couple of fans who were eager to show what they got at some point in time from her. It turns out that she, allegedly, at the start of her career, sent secret DMs to top super chat donors at the time.
事の発端は、ツイッター上に投稿されたとある画像。ウルハルシア、スパチャ学で世界一を獲得したこともある彼女が、特定のファンにお礼動画を送っていたことがリークされたのである。その画像からは、何度もありがとう。本当に無理はしないでね。今度、お礼に動画を送っても良きですか？これは気持ちなのですが。また、別のファンの投稿では、お返しは、こんなことしかできませんが、精一杯のお祝いです。というやりとりに加え、実際に送付されたお祝い動画もリークされている。
お誕生日おめでとうございます。素敵な一年にしてください。ルシアも昨日1周年とか祝いしてくれて、本当にありがとうございました。これからもよろしくね。じゃあ、おつぶし。
Only two gave the info, but as you can see in this picture, there were probably a lot more who decided to keep the secret still. This is Orca. For those who don't know, this is the top donor for Rushia. As you can see from this white Christian screenshot, he's got her DMs active somehow, in contrast to this screenshot from an account that, even though he's following her, doesn't have them. Suspicious. Also, this screenshot that I have here shows she had already almost a year working for Hololive, so can't really say it was at the beginning of her career. The other one looks even more recent, being on July, with no specified year on it. After all that and the backlash he faced by the English-speaking community, Korekore decides to do a live stream about the situation, including everything he left out, and bringing two translators who, at least with the English one, did a poor job at it, but luckily there are captions with the right translations.
1月の初旬に連絡来ましたと。で、内容は全部話をするので、私が消息不明になったらみんなに伝えてください。自分だけこんなひどいことをされて傷つくのは嫌です。これね、前回ちょっとね話もしなかったし出さなかったので、ちょっと分かりにくいかもしんないんでね、もうちょっとこれは出しますけども、これこそ相談したいことがありますと、話せてなかったこと、私もこれいわゆるですね、ちょっと命をっていうね、ちょっとネガティブな発言なんですけども、全部話して私が消息不明になったらみんなに伝えてください。仕事も人間関係も疲れちゃいました。ちょっとこれ俺ねノリが軽いんですけど、急展開しすぎだろう。もう本当にボロボロで本当に消えたいけど、このまま自分だけこんなにひどいことをされて傷ついて全部終わらせるのが嫌だと。 で、まあ俺がどうしたんや一体と。で、まあ、コレコさんの都合のいい日を教えてほしいですということで、まあ、日程合わせて話をするって話なんですけど、で、まあちょっとね、内容は一旦後で出るんですけど、また、事務所の先輩と揉めている。マネージャーの対応もおかしい。まあ相談されることになるんですね。はい。まあその中で、はい。まあこれ事務所の先輩、マネージャーの対応がおかしい。まあこれはVTuber。うん。まあ要は VTuber、まあ僕はちょっと VTuber の界隈っていうのはあんまりよくわからないんですけども、まあライバル視持ってて当然といえば当然だと思うんですけど、多分みんなそんな仲いいって感じじゃないと思うんですよね。まあもちろん仲いい VTuber 同士もいるかもしれないですけど、まあそういうのでちょっとしたなんか妨害というか嫌がらせを受けてると。っていう話をまあここで聞きました。
That live stream was basically made to clear some misconceptions and, in the case of this video, providing more info on what the real character of Mikeneko is. After going into more details on what Korekore said about Rushia, wanting to know about Mafu's past relationship, this part of the live stream happens.
ね、本当にまあこんな感じでね、事務所の後輩のせいでまあいろいろごちゃついて初めは我慢してたと。うん。で俺もやっぱ先輩ってだけで上下関係みたいなの嫌だよなみたいな。うん、俺は言いたいこと言うからそれですっきりするみたいな。でもまあそのルシアはまあ言えないと。そういうことは配信で言えないし、ツイッターでも書けないし、まあ、ストレスが溜まってると。うん。はい、でこれ、まあ散々これ言われてきたんですけど、まあ、もし本当に私が消えてしまったらこれさんに全部話してほしいですもん。まあただ私が生きてたらやめてほしいですがっていう。だからその前に詳しく話をしたかったって思いました。その私が今までやられたことをね。でまあ私が消えて、こいつは全員不幸にしてやりたい。うん、まあだからかなりねその嫌がらせをしてきた、まあ、VTuber とか事務所の人間に、まあ、憎悪を抱いてると。うん。
On this clip, I got this part of the live stream talking about how Mikeneko wanted to talk about how she felt like disappearing, leaving not only the VTuber war, but the actual one as well. But in the case she did, she was also planning on bringing everyone else on Hololive down as well. Either the beef was real and really bad, or she is an actual main hero and she only shows the appealing, so to say, parts of it to the audience, like an actual manipulated person. But Rushia was always a nice girl. All the rages were jokes and she's kind to every Holoman. So Rushia wouldn't lie, is what you say. She can be malicious or deceive people into believing something. Huh? Let's see. Let's hold on to those questions while I end with the other stuff. On the 26th, Mafu makes his full statement on the Rushia situation on his own blog. You can see the images for the translation here. The statement basically says that both of them got to the conclusion of not interacting ever again. That's what the post says. However, there is a possibility that it was all decided by him. Remember the mistranslation on the Mikeneko tweetcast where she's saying, "Look at your phone"? What if that was in reference to this instead of being fired? What if he took the choice by himself, since it was no worth risking his career for someone like her? And Korekore also hints at that.
お互いの未来を前向きに考え、今後関わることはやめましょうという結論に対し、なんともう一切関わらないということで、話が終わったそうです。みたいですね。まあ、ということです。まあ、なので、ルシアね、多分ね、スマホ見てくださいとかね、泣きながら言ってたし、ひどいとか言ってたけど、多分そういうことなんだと思うんですよ。まあ、ゲームする仲だったのに、もうゲームすらもできないというか、もう関わることもできなくなってしまったと。まあ、だから、まあ、ああやって泣いてたのかもしれないね、もしかしたらね、それを言われたとき。
Though it's all speculation. After some days on March the 2nd, Mikeneko uploads a video introducing her cat, the one that's left since one of them died in November. Something she also mentions on the video. Was worth nothing about it? Nothing much. We could say that she's getting ready to make more content, was testing the waters with something that's pretty universally cute. Later on, March the 6th, she does an impromptu live stream. A stream that was going to be unarchived, but that also spawned a couple of clips from it. Also full recording of it, which will be linked down below. But one of those clips shows something that was pretty much expected.
ちゃんと言っとるのよ。で、今言われてるのはもう包み隠さず言うと、不安障害。なんか全般性不安障害と不安障害と躁うつ病って言われてしまって、あとパニック。もう本当はただのメールで本当恥ずかしいんですけどね。本当恥ずかしいんだけど、ここをどんどん直していきたいと思ってます。いや、アンチさんも仲良くしてほしいよ。なんかこう、あんまりさ、ぐちゃぐちゃやってないでさ、じゃあ分かった、アンチさん、私戦おうよ。いや、もうそれ負けるから、あれで。マリカで戦おうよ。スプラトゥーンはそれ、戦おうよ。ちょっと、私が勝ったら黙ってもらう。黙らせるよ、本当に。スマブラはちょっとごめん、嘘ついた。みんなのが強いからちょっと無理。男の人いねえよ、そんなもん。いねえよ、そんなもん。もう私は、もう、配信しか信じねえ。ということでみんな、今日はこの辺でおしまいにして、今日はね、配信ができるかなって思うテストだったんだけどね。あれだね。ちょっと安心したのは普通にできる。いろいろね、これからちょっと、まあ、次はいつだろう。まあ、本当は毎日できるんだけど、何をしていいのかあとまだ何もイラストとかがなくて。じゃあ今日は、ここでおしまいにするね。ありがとうございました。大好き。ルシアも、ルシアって誰？コウスケさんありがとう。大好きありがとう。ちょっとね、みんなよくわかんない名前を出すのはやめてください。じゃあみんなまたね。ありがとう。バイバイ。
It was pretty expected that she wasn't going to acknowledge Russia. There are also other things that she says about her mental health that in a situation like hers it's to be expected. But does it really matter at this point? Maybe yes. She talks about having 3 different mental disorders, which she lists as generalized anxiety disorder, manic depression, which is known nowadays as bipolar disorder, and also panic disorder. Thus this helps to paint a better picture for everyone on what's going on. Some people might say yes, or there are yet things to unveil. As a side comment on that live stream, she made almost $8,000 on Super Chat. 7,800 to be more precise, given the number Anime News Network gave. I don't like them, but they had that number, so I have to list them as the source for me knowing it. The link for the information is on the description. But now, everything that went down with Mikeneko has been displayed. It said a couple of things that I want to point out regarding all those questions and things that it left in the remember the age comment. Also how I mentioned the fact that she, according to facts, wouldn't be able to deceive people into believing something else. There is this very famous Dream 3.Printer clip of her. One of the first Hololive clips many people saw back in 2020. I won't show it here since most of the people should already know about it. But in that clip it shows that she tried to hide from chat the fact that she was 20 years old and 43 kilograms was her weight. about the weight came to, but the age? Yeah, right. Here's a clip from an old show, where a young girl with a familiar voice in a list that's not present anymore apparently participated.
清水さん、
はい、
何やってらっしゃる
の？秋葉原でメイドカフェをやっています。
あ、今もああいうのやってるのがいらっしゃいます。ご主人様
やってます。ご主人様やお嬢様にお食事を提供するときに愛情を込めてます。
はい、どんなやったっけ？愛情込めて。
萌え萌えキュン、美味しくなーれ。
その人はそれでどういうリアクションなの？どうしたらいいのだ俺たちは。
一緒に。
On the clip, it is shown that Shimizu-san has 20 years old. And since I'm using this clip already, might as well just say her full name as it's shown here. It's Shimizu Miki. It's public information because she was on TV. But this particular show is called Korekore Sabaki, or Much Ado About Love. And it started airing on 1994 and didn't stop until 2011. Just to stretch things as much as we can, let's say it was on the last year that she participated, which was in 2011, just to again stretch the numbers to her favor. We will then only need to sum 9 to the current 20 years, and that gives us 29, which is the age that she should supposedly have on the refit fail. So she should have been 31 by now, and oh. But at the end of the day, that could still be a very innocent thing to do, which doesn't remove the fact that she was smart enough to do so in the first place. Now, I showed a moment of her where she was apparently still very innocent, but this next clip shows that she certainly wasn't at that moment.
でもめっちゃ老けるよね。この数時間で。お前らのせいで、ごめんなさい。君たちのせいだよ。うん。これでお金もらえてマジです。うん。犯罪ってなんで私犯罪者なの？うん。そんなこと言って君たちの方が犯罪者になるかもね。うん。どうする今日のコメントで私が明日自殺しましたってなったら。うん。君たちは犯罪者だよ、それで。うん。で、私がノートでこういうコメントがあったから死にますと。そう、君たちは犯罪者だね。
This is not a very good translation, and it leaves some sentences out, but I was able to pick up on them, and I ask to anyone who does know and have studied proper Japanese to correct me if terribly wrong. I translated what she said there. This is an old Mikeneko clip where Mikeneko was promoting a scam app, and when confronted by chat, she tries to deflect it, playing victim and criminalizing chat if they end up inducing her into not alive anymore. Does that sound familiar? Maybe she changed, or maybe she didn't. Maybe the beef with her senpai was about her attitude, but who will confront her about that? Maybe someone who is believed to have motherly attitude? It will go full circle, one of the first clips I showed here. But at the end of the day, this is all speculation, and we're obviously not going to get any confirmations of what happened. When it comes to Mikeneko as a person, going from what she's done and that other things that she allegedly did or threatened with, it might seem that there's either another mental disorder that the hospital overlooked on her, or that she's straight up just a sociopath, on top of all the other things that she has. Because I do believe in her mental illness, as it is almost impossible to follow her. her same train of thought on every decision she took without having some kind of challenging condition that clouds her thinking. But who knows? There are many people saying that all she did was deliberate because she was trying to get Mafu to confirm they had a relationship. There are also people saying that she did everything just to get out of VTubing without a proper graduation because she was so tired of it. You could say that it was a right call if that was the case, because she is able to maintain most of her fan base, and now she can have all the cover would have had otherwise. Let's go back for a bit to the statement cover made about her termination. With the things that are shown there to be the cause of her termination, we can see, and many people have accepted, that she could have been even sued about them because it's about a non-disclosure agreement. However, how I see it is that she's going to be safe as long as she doesn't start running her mouth, talking about all the things she already talked about with Korekore. Even if they are fake, they are still reputational damage for the company. That's why if she doesn't speak about them, cover won't lay a finger on her, and they'll just let her be. But that's once more speculation, as I'm not an insider and I have no way of knowing how things really went down. This video has a lot of info that might take time for it to sink in. Even I cannot fully process or think who Mikeneko really is. All I know is that she is way more unstable than what she has shown on her time as Rushia, and that's saying a lot already in my opinion. It was a good thing for Cover to fire her, not only because they can protect their current and future talents more, but also because that might make Miki reflect on what she's been doing and the things she's done for everything to happen the way it did. Realistically though, I don't see her learning from this experience, as she's still not going to lose her income. Heck, she probably earn more, because Cover is not going to have a cut anymore, and she can manage her own merchandise if she wants to have some. But only time will tell what will happen with her. This was a very long video, so for all of you who actually went through it all, I wish you a good day or night, and hopefully this isn't as mentally straining as I think it might be. Remember to not hate if you don't want anything to do with Mikeneko. Just silently leave, as she's not going to miss or stress about someone she doesn't see. And I guess I won't see you anymore, so peace.